Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is Vishal and you're watching weekly sectoral analysis. Now before I go ahead in this video, I would like to share something with all of you because especially for people who are not following me on Twitter and they're just following me on YouTube, I had shared a very important information just few days back. Now I had posted a tweet, I think this is on March 6th, so you can see what I've wrote over here. So far we have been in a sharp pullback in Nifty futures. Price is currently trading with a resistance band, within a resistance band, and resistance band is within 17,860 to 17,747. So you can see this was a resistance and this was a hourly chart in front of you. All right. Now we'll go back to the charts. So this is the same actually resistance band which I shared on Twitter, and from there you can see that from 17,861 to probably 17,372, this has been a lot of selling happening in a very short point of time. Now the main question I think going on in many people's mind is a lot of negative news is coming up from the US markets, and what has happened, even the Indian markets have collapsed in the matter of just couple of days. Now, the main important point over here is obviously you can see this sort of candle which has formed, which is a hammer, and a negative candle formation on the upside. So people are confused that what is going to happen ahead? Is this going to trend continue, or are we going to fill this gap? What's going to exactly happen, right? So even this thing was going on in my mind, and what I feel is a lot of short-term volatility is going to happen in the next few days. So watch the video till the end if you want to have complete benefit from this educational video. All right. So first, looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that the trend is flat and prices are just doing zigzag up and down. But yes, overall the slope is slightly on the downside. The trend is completely flat, although it has some sort of support from the 50-week simple moving average over here. All right. Now, if you have a look at the daily time frame chart, the trend is obviously down, and it's a lot of volatility happening on the downside. No doubt the direction is down, but a lot of volatility is there. You can see prices going down, going up, down, up. So a lot of volatility is there. But this is a good time for swing traders, especially if you can time your trade. Okay. Now we can see there is some sort of hammer formation over here, and obviously this previous low is a support, and this previous low support is somewhere around 17,349 to 17,300. Okay, and we have a very strong hammer over here. If you have a look in the daily time frame chart also, we have a sort of hammer formation over here, and even the RSI is slightly close to that 30 mark. So there is some sort of possibility that some sort of consolidation, some sort of pullback might happen, and prices will try to slightly go higher. But problem is that, my friends, this gap is too wide. This is not a very small gap. It's a pretty big gap in terms of size. So how much this gap will be filled, it's, I guess, only time will tell. Even I cannot do any sort of prediction about it. So only time will tell. But yes, some sort of pullback is expected in the next few days. Some sort of cool off is expected. Some sort of relief is expected for the bulls because of this terrible sell-off which we saw in the last couple of days. But again, we should also understand as traders that generally when overall world markets collapse due to some bad news, okay, then we should also keep our minds open on the other side that yes, some sort of pullback is expected, but if this particular low is taken off, 17,340 or 300 on closing basis, then again you will see some sort of sell-off happening on the downside. And even if this pullback happens, say for example, if this pullback actually happens, then first thing is, if you are a very extremely bullish trader, if you're not a bearish trader, there are many people who just trade on the long side. And the first positive sign will be that 17,880 or 17,900 is taken off. Only then, just because you can see that this gap has been filled, in case if it has happened, do not think that this is a reversal or something. do not jump into the markets. All right. It's always good enough to be late little bit, but to get into the markets with complete confirmation at our end. All right. Let's have a look at the Bank Nifty futures now. In Bank Nifty futures also, I think things are pretty similar to Nifty, but I think Nifty is a little bit more weaker in terms of state of trend than Nifty, because you can see Nifty has almost touched over here to the lower band of this particular swing waves. But in Bank Nifty, I think it's still around midway and it is still trading at this support band. Now, the support band, I'll share the coordinates with you. Support band is from 40,575 to 40,545. So in case if we close below this low, particularly because we have a small wick over here, yes, then some sort of sell-off will be seen on the downside. But if this particular support band is not taken off on the downside, then you can see couple of candles, last couple of candles have been hammers, and a candle before that has been high wave candle. So maybe a small pullback sort of thing is probable on the upside. But again, please do not jump into the markets on the bullish side just because we can see, a sharp pullback in coming days. Because the overall trend in terms of state of trend is still down in the daily chart and it is flat in the weekly time frame charts. Now, when we have a look at PSU banks, now I had shared a video on my YouTube channel. If you just go to my YouTube channel and see a particular video before than that, I had shared bullish medium term view for two stocks. First was Bank of Baroda. All right. And the breakout level which I had told was above 180, 181. Still this breakout has not happened. So still my view is intact. My view is intact. I have not changed my view, but the breakout has not yet happened. So I stick to my view and I'll wait if that breakout happens or not. If the breakout happens, then my positive view will be initiated. Second stock was Canara Bank. Again, the positive view for this particular stock is still valid if it closes above 320, 321 levels, which has still not happened. Before that, you can see some sort of selling came in from the resistance level, basically resistance band. So my positive view is intact, but it will get initiated only if the stock closes about 320, 321. And you can go to my YouTube channel in case you have not been able to watch that video initially. This is the only view I have for PSU banks. Now we'll go to the private banking pack. Private banking pack in comparison to PSU banks, you can see very, very clearly that private banking pack is much weaker. But only one thing is visible, that there is some sort of support band over here. And couple of times you have seen this bounce back happening from this particular band. I'll just try to highlight over here. You can see this first bounce back and second bounce back. And this bounce back are pretty good in size. They're not a very small bounce back. So we have, again, trading around over here. And if you have a look at the hourly time frame chart, you can see a couple of hammers. Now, if this hammer starts working and RSI is also oversold, then some sort of pullback might happen. But again, this will just be a mere pullback as we are at a support band and a gap has been left on the upside. And again, this is not a prediction. Sometimes gaps get filled, sometimes the gap may not get filled. So just don't go on the word that if there is a gap, it should be filled. Many times I have seen that gaps just remain unfilled and the sell-off continues or the rally continues on the upside. So this is a support band. Be very, very careful over here. But I have one stock to share with all of you, which is Kotak Bank, which is looking weak in comparison to all other private banks. You can see it's in downtrend in the weekly time frame charts, which is the medium term, and even in the short to medium term chart in the daily time frame chart. So the support is 1685. If it closes below the 1685 levels, then I think lower levels will be possible. And if there is a pullback on the upside, just a small pullback, I think that pullback will also be, taken down and some sort of selling will come up, because if you just have a look at the candles, the first candle over here is a high wave candle after a sharp rally on the upside. The second candle over here is just above, just next to this candle, which is actually a hanging man. And after a hanging man, we have a big red candle. So this is a perfect three candle setup, which is on the bearish side. So in case if there is any pullback and pullback finds the resistance, I think it'll turn around and again start coming down on the downside. All right. Let's have a look at the metal pack. Now, metal pack obviously has gone down very fast and have been able to pull back very fast. And the reason for this pullback is 127.20% Fibonacci extension in the weekly time frame chart. And you can see a very beautiful you can see a weekly hammer over here. And the next candle is spinning top. So after a pullback, this particular sector doesn't know what it wants to do. And even over here, some sort of consolidation is visible. So according to my analysis, it seems that overall weakness is visible in the metal pack. It's just consolidating in the daily time frame chart. If this consolidation continues, and according to me, if it is not able to surpass 110 levels very, very soon, Tata Steel, then after this consolidation, again a short-term sell-off is probable in the Tata Steel. Again, this is just for short term. I'm not sharing this view for medium term. All right. Autopack. Now, Autopack, I think in last 2 days, especially this particular days, there was a sharp sell-off over here. And you can see this is a support band which has been violating again and again, but it keeps working because in last week, the immediate bounce back actually happened due to this support band. The candle went down all the way, but was not able to close below this particular support band, which is around 12,690 to 12,690. But after this pullback, then again we have an inverted hammer. So some sort of sell-off is happening in this particular sector also. But one stock is looking positive is Tata Motors. Within this sell-off happening, still Tata Motors is able to stand its ground and it's not ready to come down as long as 412 is not taken off. And one more stock which I can see is Eicher Motors. This particular stock is also looking pretty weak. Some sort of support is visible around this level. You can see multiple times there has been sharp pullback. Okay. But you can see last candle in the weekly time frame chart was really, really bad. So the day it closes below this particular support, which is around 3070 or something, then you will see sharp sell-off happening in Eicher Motors on the downside. Finance. Now, finance pack in weekly time frame chart, it is extremely range bound. And in the daily time frame chart, it's giving wonderful opportunities for swing traders for the short selling type of trade on the downside. Again, one stock which I would like to share is Bajaj Finserv. You can see this stock closing below this low, which is the Friday's low. I think will give some sort of room for the stock to correct on the downside. The trend in the weekly time frame chart is also weak. The trend in the daily time frame chart is also weak. The candle in the weekly time frame chart, couple of candles are also looking weak. And on the other side, there is one extremely strong stock. I think I'd shared my view for the same in my last weekly sectoral analysis also. PFC is one of the strongest stocks, I think, in the finance pack, Power Finance Corporation. According to me, yes, it is a little bit overbought, little bit overstretched in the daily time frame charts. So some sort of short-term profit booking or consolidation is possible, but overall with time, slowly and steadily, I think it will continue moving on the upside. And anyone who has initiated a positional trade in this particular stock, it is must to book at least partial profits in this stock. Why? The reason is the degree of the rally, the direction of rally. Some rallies happen slanting 45 degrees, some are 60, 70 degrees. This is sort of vertical degree. So generally when the rally is vertical, it is very important that you keep your eyes open because the rally in the weekly time frame chart is also vertical. So when you see a rally which is vertical in daily and weekly time frame charts, partial profit booking is extremely, extremely important, because if God forbid there is some sort of short-term volatility on the downside, it could be little bit psychologically difficult for you. All right. IT pack. Now, IT pack, again, it has been disappointing people continuously. Many times it goes up, makes a new high, keeps coming down, but still it is maintaining a higher low. All right. And it is extremely close to the moving averages. So it's very, very difficult actually to take a view in this particular sector as of now. But one stock which I can see is Infosys. This particular stock has gone down very, very sharply. Very sharply it has gone down. And you can see suddenly there is some sort of pullback which is happening. If this pullback continues and goes above 1520 or 1530, then the pullback will continue on the upside. But if it is not able to take this level and a small consolidation happens after a pullback, I think this sell-off will continue on the downside. Pharma pack, you can see that it has found support in this zone of 127.20% extension. And what we can see that the support has been broken. But I guess as a trader, we need to be very smart. Many times it can happen that the supports can get broken, and after the support is broken, suddenly a pullback happens. It can happen. Okay. And plus we can also see a lower low in price and a higher low in RSI. So this is not a positive divergence, but this is a sign that possibly the momentum on the downside in the pharma stocks is getting weaker and some sort of pullback is possible. But in pharma pack, I repeat, in pharma pack, you'll have to remain stock specific. You cannot have a blanket view for entire pharma pack. All stocks are trading in a very different zone. I'll share one stock with you, which is Sun Pharma. Okay. So it is still just below this support band, closed below this support band, you can see, but this high is not yet broken. And even in this particular stock, we have a positive. This is a classical positive divergence, possibly a close below 964 or 65, some sort of pullback will be possible. And then we'll face a resistance over here, 970, 71. If this level is surpassed, then I think the pullback will continue on the upside. If it is not surpassed, then we'll keep rotating and keep consolidating over here in this particular zone. If you have a look at Auropharma, okay, Auropharma. Now suddenly this stock has given a very sharp pullback. It has consolidated and then it has given a very strong hammer. So if this level is broken, 474, 475 on the upside, it will try to rally and probably test around 490 to 500 levels, just a very, very, very short-term rally. And one another stock which I have in my watch list is Dr. Reddy. Dr. Reddy also is trying to start a sharp pullback sort of rally on the upside, but you will have to be very, very careful because it tried to start over here, it failed. Again, it's trying to form a base and made a strong hammer over here. Again, it will have to close at least above 4,500, 4,550 to take off on the upside. FMCG pack. Now in FMCG pack, you can see the trend is up in the weekly time frame chart, but some sort of consolidation is visible, sideways movement is visible to all of you. Again, it's trying really hard. The FMCG pack is trying really hard. And why this is happening, this wild movement is happening because ITC is strong and Hindustan Unilever is weak. So what is happening is trend is up, goes down, again it goes up, again there is a hammer. So according to me, it's very, very good for a trader to remain stock specific. According to me, ITC is one of the stronger stocks over here. And I think I had shared a positive view somewhere over here. And you can see the uptrend continuing. And possibly is that even this particular level will not remain over here. This high 394, 395 will be surpassed pretty soon enough. But you need to understand that overall market is weak right now. And this is just one stock which I can see which is trying to stand alone. So if you are a trader who is, there are some traders who are only bullish traders. They cannot short in the market. Do not try to put your entire position sizing in just one stock. Trade in such a way that you do not lose more than 1% of your portfolio, your trading portfolio in a particular trade over here. Okay. And Hindustan Unilever, if you check, it's a weak stock according to me. You can see a couple of candles and then it's trying to go down. A small pullback it's trying to do, and it may be successful, but not for long. If this high is not taken out, 2502 or 2505, then after a consolidation, again, some sort of sell-off will continue on the downside. So in FMCG pack, you'll have to remain stock specific. Realty pack is, I guess, one of the weakest sectors over here, and it's looking currently even weaker. You can see sell-off trying to start again from the similar zone over here in the daily time frame chart. Now, if you have a look at the stock DLF, it's looking very, very weak, and probability is that this particular sell-off will continue and the stock might test 340 or maybe even lower levels pretty soon. But yes, there is some sort of lower wick over here. So if you have a look in the daily time frame chart, there is a small hammer. So some sort of pullback will happen. But if the pullback doesn't sustain, again, you will see the sell-off continuing on the downside. Consumption pack, according to me, it's very slow and steadily grinding on the downside, very slow and steadily. And over here, you can see a bearish engulfing pattern happening on the 9th and the 8th March. So these two candles coming together have formed a bearish engulfing pattern. Now we have a hammer over here, so maybe a small pullback will happen. Again, if it takes out this particular level on the upside, I think the sell-off might end just for time being. But if it doesn't happen, then again, after a sharp pullback, a sell-off will start on the downside. One stock from my side to keep on the watch list is Bharti Airtel. It's looking weak, and a lot of tug of war between bulls and bears is going on in Bharti Airtel. You can see a hammer and then a inverted hammer happening in the weekly time frame chart. All right. So as of now, there is no trade over here, but it certainly looks weak as it's trying to, find some selling over here from the same level, which is around 790 or something, or 789. So according to me, if a breakdown happens in the shorter term time frame charts, then swing traders will be able to take advantage of this particular stock. Infra pack, as of now, I have no views. I'll just stay away from it. But yes, I can see one stock which is looking a bit weak, which is Ambuja Cement. It's trying to consolidate. There is no breakdown over here, nothing. But it's trying to consolidate. And please be very, very careful, because Ambuja Cements is somehow linked to that Adani Enterprises group or something. So if you trade, please hedge your positions. Do not initiate naked risky trades in this particular stock. And still the support is not broken over here. And the support is somewhere around 370 or 365 mark. So be very careful in this trade. But yes, as a candidate for a swing short trade, you can surely look up to this stock. Mid caps, I have no views. I can only see one thing, that consistently this low is not being broken. But apart from that, I have nothing to say, because the trend is still flat in the weekly time frame chart. If some sort of pullback on the upside happens, then first level will need to be taken off is this particular high. Only then it will change the entire state of trend in the daily time frame charts. All right, so I have shared my view, and again, just to repeat in a short few words, that next week could be hell of a volatile week. So trade very, very carefully. If you have not been able to initiate short-sided trades in any of the stocks or any of the indexes, this is not the time to go short, because already this bus has been missed. And if the trend continues on the downside, in case if this low breaks and if it continues, then try to find stocks which have yet not been broken down, and you can use that bounce back to again sell off on the downside and make some money out of it. Again, I repeat, the overall week, next week is going to be a little bit volatile. Trade very, very carefully and keep watch on your position sizing, right? Enjoy the trade.